Welcome to another edition of Comet Algebra. This video is for Algebra 2, Chapter 3, Section 3, Solving Problems with Systems of Equations. Now I did print out these notes for you on a Word document, so please ask me for a copy if you haven't gotten one already. Here I have spelled out the steps needed to follow when we're going to solve these word problems. First, as you're reading through, identify important information that you're going to need to write the two equations. So you're already kind of thinking in your head that I have to have an x plus y equation for one part of the problem and then another x plus y equation for another part of the problem. So it's usually we can separate out the two sections. Then it's very helpful to define your variables. Tell me what your x equals, if it's the number of people that you bought tickets for, or if x is, like in our first example, hot dogs, define the variables. And then use the information given to write two equations. And then just go ahead and use the preferred method. You may use substitution or elimination. And then please do plug in your answers and check them when you're done to make sure they do work in both of your equations. And then always, always, always put units on your answer. If you're asked for how many hot dogs, say X amount of hot dogs and Y amount of soft drinks. So answer the question. All right, let's look at example 1 together. So if you read it, we're selling hot dogs and drinks for the given prices, and we know how much money we made, and we know that we sold a total of 87 items. This word is sort of important because we're going to have an equation dealing with the total number of items purchased and another equation dealing with the money. So first we set our variables. We let x equal the hot dogs and y the soft drinks. And since we sold a total of 87 items, that's why I wrote x plus y equals 87. Then we use the prices given and the amount of money raised to do the second equation. If each hot dog is sold for $1.50 and there's X of them, that would be 150X. And same thing with the drinks. Y drinks at 50 cents a piece added together gives us our total, the money that we raised. And now it's just personal preference, how you want to solve it. I'm going to set it up for elimination. So I took this first equation and I multiplied everything by a negative 1.5 or $1.50. And then I'm going to write the second equation below it, and I should be all set up for elimination. So if I add these equations together, this would be a negative 1y, and this would add to a negative 52. Therefore, positive y is a positive 52. So right now I know half the answer. I know that we sold 52 drinks. So we simply take this 52, this answer, and we go back to one of the original equations to plug it in. I think this first equation looks a little easier to work with, so that's what I'm going to choose. X plus 52 equals 87, and then just subtracting from both sides, and we get 35. So now we have our answer of 35 hot dogs and 52 drinks. Okay, reading through example 2, we have a bill for our meal of the $11.25. So this is our total. And then we have a friend that came and they ordered a little different menu items, and theirs is $10. So this problem, we're going to have an equation for us, an equation for our friend. And since we ordered 3 soft tacos and 3 burritos, if X is the cost of 1 taco, Y is the cost of 1 burrito, 3X plus 3Y equals our total. Our friend ordered 4 tacos and 2 burritos, and their bill was $10. So this time the equations were one for me and one for my friend. And then once again, you set it up for substitution or elimination. I made an observation that this second equation has all even numbers in it. Now, just as you can multiply the equation up by multiplying everything by the same number, you can also divide an equation down. And I do that when I can because it makes the math easier. So I'm going to divide this one down by 2, and now I'm going to set this up for elimination by multiplying this new equation by -3. So this is what would be resulting, and then I'm going to put the other equation below it, and I have this set up nicely that the y's will drop out. So draw the line and add straight down, and I get -3x is equal to -$3.75. Dividing both sides by -3, I get x is $1.25. So now I know half the answer. I know that the tacos cost $1.25. So going back to one of the originals to substitute it in, I don't know, perhaps this one is the easiest one to work with. So if I put the $1.25 in there, I would have $2.50 plus y equals 5. And then subtracting from both sides, I get that y is $2.50. Therefore, the burrito's cost is $2.50. Now keep in mind that I'm solving these with my preferred method. You are welcome to use substitution if that's what you prefer. All right, this next problem, after you've read it, we can see that we have a test that's worth 145 points and it has 50 questions on it. So I'm thinking that those are going to be the two types of equations I have. I'm going to have a point equation and a points equation. Some of the questions are worth 2 and some are worth 5. So you have to pick your variables and assign them. I'm going to assign x to be the 2-point questions, how many there are, and y to be how many 5-point questions there are. Now we know that there is 50 questions on the test, so to me that's kind of the easy one. That's the total. We know that we have a certain number of each of these, but together, if I added up the two types of questions, I have a total of 50 questions. And then the x ones are worth 2 points, so each x question is worth 2 points, so that's 2x. Each y question is worth 5 points, so that's 5y. And we know that we have a 145-point test. And so now once again, I prefer elimination, so I'm going to take this top one and multiply it by -2. I am setting myself up for the x's to cancel out. Draw a line and add. The x's are gone, so I get 3y is equal to 45. Dividing both sides by 3, and I get y to be 15. So right now we know that we have 15 of the 5-point questions. Perhaps the first equation is the easiest to plug in to find your x. So x plus 15 equals 50. Subtracting a 15, I'd get x is 35. Therefore, the other answer is that we have 35 of the 2-point questions. All right, this last example. The Lakers scored 80 points in a game. They made 37 baskets, together the 2 and the 3-point baskets. So again, we're going to have an equation that talks about the total number of baskets that were made. We're disregarding free throws in this problem. And we're going to have an equation that talks about points. So once again, you've got to assign your variables. I'm going to choose x to be the 2-point shots and y to be the 3-point shots. We know that there was a total of 37 baskets made, so x plus y is 37. And we know that 80 points were scored. Each x basket was worth 2 points. Each y basket was worth 3, and there were 80 points scored. Once again, I think you kind of got the idea that I like elimination, so I'm going to multiply this top by -2, Wow, this is going to work out really nice. That would be a negative 74. So adding straight down here, and we would get 6. So we know now that we had 6 of the 3-point shots. Perhaps going back to that first equation, x plus 6 equals 37. Subtracting a 6, we'd get 31. Therefore, they scored 31 of the 2-point shots. All right, I think you have the knowledge you need now to do section 3.3. Have fun with that.